All right, it's time to break down the film one scene at a time. Act 1. Why don't we set some shit up?
Our film begins in the only place Nick likes to film in more than Las Vegas, New Orleans, or New Orleans, or Narlands, depending on how hard you were dropped as a child. The year is 1981 as we see our titular character, Sonny Philips, walking through the seedier parts of the French Quarter with tears in his eyes and an army uniform on his back.
This was actually supposed to be set in 1960s New Orleans for whatever reason, and Cage moved it to the 80s, and apparently the AIDS epidemic had something to do with it, but he was like, I wanted to set it before the AIDS epidemic and then sprinkle a little bit of talk about it later on in the film. But like, he said he did it because he doesn't really know the 60s very well, but he knows the 80s real well. And he actually lived in this house in New Orleans in the 80s. So I feel like this is more like a nostalgia trip for him.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of wondered why it took place in the 80s, because it doesn't really seem like it needed to be set in a specific time. It's a story that could have been told.
It was like, really. Was prostitution legal in the 80s in New Orleans or something?
I don't think so.
I don't really.
I mean, it was probably illegal, but you know.
I mean, they don't really deal with the legality of it at all.
They don't
really. I don't think it's ever even mentioned, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he returns home to a charming little 2-story brothel where his mom excitedly greets her son, who has been gone for 3 years, and immediately tells him the operation has been a bit slow since he stopped slinging dick to old ladies in the bayou. Yeah, I missed you too, Mom.
It was like, Henry doesn't steal as much as he used to, and I can't put it out anymore.
Right.
Oh, shit.
I only got this one girl.
Yeah.
First scene.
One girl. That's when I was like, how much longer? Oh, fuck, we're only a minute 30 in. Mama can't wait for Sonny to get back to what he does best, to teach her new girl, Carol, the ropes so that she can help others produce ropes. Sorry, we're just matching the energy of this film. I mean, hopefully you guys get what we're saying here. If not, do not Google. Also, Mama says she can't pull tricks anymore. So they're broke. So, you know, that's fun. Coming back to all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Sonny tries to let his mom down easy since it's clear he wants to get a normal job. But when Carol comes in the room, Mama says, they'll make a great team. And that Sonny is the best there ever was since she trained him herself. Oh, God. This just opens up a fucking Pandora's box of horrible mental images.
At one point, they say that he like started when he was 12.
Yeah.
So, fuck.
Oh, God. And the fuck. Yeah, we don't need to go down that path. We'll just leave it as it is.
Yeah.
Mina Savari, a.k.a. Carol, shakes hands with Sonny, but Mama tells her to get ready for her date with Troy and not to accept half and half for $200. And that Carol would give it away for free if Mama didn't stay on top of her all the time. She's a real fucking charming lady.
I think it was like $100 for half and half. I don't know what half and half is.
I don't know what half and half is.
I didn't want to Google that either.
I'm not going to say.
I thought literally she's implying that she would take half and half. Like
it seems like a lot of money for that.
$200 for some sloppy
back
toppy.
in 1981. Like that's
that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that wouldn't even cost that much today.
No, I can go outside a block down the street from where I'm living and get it for $50.
Or you just run out on Aurora. And then,
Or if you're like Gary Ridgway, you could get it for free. While Mama makes bacon and lard, you know, kind of the standard for any Southern breakfast.
Yeah. You're making bacon and you throw extra lard in there?
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I think it was like fatback or something because the bacon strips were like this fucking long.
Yeah, they're huge. Had to be, yeah. Anyways, well, she's giving him a heart attack on a plate. Sonny says he's not going to be a gigolo no more since he knows a guy from the army who is going to hook him up with a job at a bookstore in Texas City. Isn't that the same place that Nick and his gang went in Wild at
That was
Heart?
big tuna.
Oh, big tuna. My bad. Big tuna. She's taken aback since she never taught Sonny to read while she was teaching him to please old ladies.
That was something Cage mentioned in the breakdown or in the commentary, was that he wanted to make it apparent that Sonny was very interested in books, which, like, in the first scene, he pulls out a book and he's holding it, and he goes in, and you do see him read a couple times, but like he doesn't seem very well read. And like when he's talking to Scott Caan's character later on, he ends up correcting him. Scott Caan corrects him when he says the name of a book or something. So I think he's interested in it, but hasn't really gone down that road. Plus, like, what, $7 an hour at most at a bookstore? I don't know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's his way of seeing a way out of that life.
Yeah.
Because, well, we'll get into it here literally in this paragraph. Sonny says he's too old to trick anymore, but his mama says he's sexier than ever. And hasn't aged a day since he went into the army. Says she won't let him throw away his incredible skills to sell books during the prime of his life. But Sonny says, Mama, I'm 26 years old. I don't want to screw all night anymore. I don't got the stomach for it.
He's not Bobby Boucher.
That's all I can.
I'm just picturing him as Bobby Boucher now.
Yeah, that's all I can picture during this. Especially when her Creole accent starts to kick in a lot thicker. I just kept hearing, but Mama said, but Mama said.
Not having sex with old ladies is for the devil.
Ain't no son of mine gonna be working at no bookstore.
Get out and sling some dick.
Oh, I don't know about you guys, but this is pretty standard family chit chat at the breakfast table for me and my family. Mama says he can work less since he can make 3 times what he used to now, because all the old tale he smashed still talk about him. Sonny stops her and says he's made up his mind since he's learned there's more to life than hustle and tricks, and doesn't want to end up like her. So I guess he doesn't want to walk around with a wizard sleeve between his legs like her. I don't.
It's flapping in the breeze.
Oh, I love these images.
Making snail trails everywhere you go.
Mama, you put a towel down on that chair now. You hear? Mama takes it pretty well, though. She calls him an ungrateful son of a bitch and tells him to go ahead, try and be a square, but they don't want shit either. You think you're the first one who's ever tried to quit? Then Sonny exits through a beaded curtain, which I think was symbolism for Mama's. Not even gonna go there. We've already had enough
Probably
terrible images.
Yeah, she actually says later on that she did try to go straight at one point, and it just didn't work out. Which is, as we see later, is exactly what happens to Sonny.
Sonny heads to his room where, before even putting his duffel bag down, he turns on a backlit photo of Niagara Falls and chugs some whiskey out of a dirty cup while staring at it. At the picture, not the cup. I was staring at the dirty cup because I thought this fucking disgusting. You can't rinse it out. It looked like there's fucking
whiskey.
puke in
Rinse
it.
it out.
Ugh.
Or something
Sanitizes.
else. You get the spit cup,
Jesus. It could have been. You know that scene in American Pie where Stifler chugs that beer? It looked like that. I'm guessing this was Sonny's way of escaping during all those years of his mom training him. That was his.
Just look at the Niagara Falls. Just look at Niagara Falls.
Just go
Don't
to your
look
happy
at
place, son.
Don't look at Mom.
We linger for a while in the picture. A first place spelling bee trophy and a picture of a young Sonny in a glamour shot of him looking sad and his mom kissing him on the temple while they're, well, not him, but her dressed like a hooker. So she's had class his whole life.
Yeah, it sets this whole thing up to be very sad because it's like, obviously Sonny had promise, and his mom kind of forced him into this whole thing. Doesn't really feel like this was ever his choice or had any say in it, really.
I just wonder why, after being discharged from the army, his first thought would be to go back home instead of going to Texas City. Or
I think he wanted to go see his mom.
Else.
Yeah, tell her that he was
tell her
leaving.
he was going to go legit, and
That's
that
what
he was
postcards
leaving.
are for.
Well, I mean, he loves his mom. And, like, he
Obviously, he's
wanted to see her.
very close to his mom because of, reasons, but closer than any of us should ever be to our mom. But
I wonder what Freud
I
would
think
say.
maybe he probably wanted tell her he was leaving, hoping maybe she'd be proud of him or something, or supportive, or anything a normal mom would be in that situation.
True. Maybe he was hoping, that she would actually be supportive. Although I feel like him going into the army probably had created a rift, or she wasn't too thrilled about it when he did. So I don't
think
know.
so too.
I guess we're not supposed to think about that part, right? Otherwise, this movie wouldn't happen if he would have just went to Texas City. We cut to a car dealership where we see Carol putting her mouth to work on some greasy slimeball car salesman, where she convinces him to give her a Trans Am for a month before she'll finish the job. Hey, that's how I got my car too. Oh, by the way, the whole scene was kind of like just her talking into some guy's cock. Like it was a microphone for some reason.
yeah, she just looks down the whole time. Like,
It was,
I think it's supposed to imply that it's like right outside of camera.
yeah, but at that point, just like don't even show her head because it's just awkward. It was awkward framing. We get the implication of her not being in the frame,
But
this guy
I think it's like she won't look at him. Like she's just she's looking at all she sees him as.
a
That
cock.
makes
She won't even
sense.
see him as a person. Won't even talk to him eye to eye. She's just like,
True.
give me the car.
Yeah.
Let me finish this. Dick that I do stuff to for money.
Yeah, it was just weird framing.
Yeah.
Like is she? Never mind. He eventually relents, and we see her driving away with the car. This kind of makes me think maybe I should get into car sales instead of the type of sales
Right.
I'm in. My
Or
job doesn't have that
get
great
into,
work.
Prostitution.
Yeah, it's like, or like you get a car for a whole month for just
Oh no, I would
blowing
lose
a guy.
money. I would lose money. I'd have to be.
You know how
paying
much a
them
car
to let me
payment is? A
perform
monthly
those
car
services. Here, take my car. Just let me
He
blow
says
you.
it's
Come
a
on.
$5,000 car. So 1981 money. That's a pretty expensive car.
Yeah, Trans Am's were.
And
more
she's
expensive
just
back then.
borrowing it. So, like, if
Right.
anything happens to it during this month that he let her borrow it, it's a pretty big gamble.
Yeah,
Just to, finish.
Right, right.
yeah. She must have some epic skills.
Yeah. Well, she's trained by Mama, so.
I mean, we kind of saw the skills. They don't look that good.
Touche. She's just kind of staring at it.
Just staring at it.
Maybe that's his thing. Though.
Yeah.
Maybe that's his kink. Next, we see Sonny fresh out of the shower. This scene kind of confused me. So he's like fresh out of the shower, but then like in a few minutes, he's
He
like
goes into the shower.
going into the shower again, right? Because we hear him turn it off.
I think maybe he was like getting ready to
for
get
the
into the
shower?
shower,
But why
it
be
looked
wrapped
like
in
he
a
just got
towel?
out of the shower.
Yeah, I don't know. That part.
I've heard
bothered me.
that. I've heard that it's like that in New Orleans. It's so humid.
It is.
You get out of the shower and you need to take another shower.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, totally.
I believe that,
100%.
Anyways, Carol walks in and gives him the keys to the blowjob mobile and says she'll move out of his room, but he says she could stay. She says she'll give him some money to get started on his new life, but he says, do I have to fuck for it? To which she says, yeah. Again, Nick wanted to get this movie made for over 15 years. He chose this story in particular to start his directing career.
I don't know.
Why? What? Why?
I can see the appeal. It's not a widely explored topic, and
Yeah.
there's a good story somewhere in
Yes,
this
there,
script.
there is, and it's been
Yes.
done well in other forms. Like, well, I won't give Paul Schrader credit for film that he might have done
Paul
similar to
Schrader is an amazing writer, and I think he has the ability to be an amazing director.
I do
but
too.
He just the movies that we have watched were really bad.
Yeah.
But I feel like we have to give him credit because
because Bringing Out
He-
the Dead isn't as bad as I
I mean, you take a Paul Schrader script and have Martin Scorsese do it.
Sure.
Then
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Take a Paul Schrader script and have Paul Schrader do it. You get Dog Eat Dog or Dying of the Light
or Dark.
Dark.
Yeah. But yeah, I think you're right.
But I do think that he
story here.
directed and wrote American Gigolo. If I'm not, incorrect, definitely let us know. But like, I feel like he did, and that movie was like really well received. So yeah, he's had some movies for sure.
Yeah,
there was that one where the movie about the author who committed seppuku that we've talked about a few times.
Yeah,
apparently that was very well received. Like he's definitely done some movies that people love.
Yeah,
there's a few movies that he's been, I think.
He wrote and directed American Gigolo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But to Nigel's credit, like this genre was not explored at the time. And since you have seen more movies and shows written about this, so I could understand that appealing to Nick, right? Like he really does like those kind of obscure taboo things, but he couldn't have asked for like a rewrite on this from somebody a lot better at writing. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah.
We'll never know. We'll never know. Carol says there's $100 and a new car outside, but he'll have to drop off a deposit before he can have it. He slides his hands under the blanket and she says, funny, I've never paid for it before. He tells her her time is up since a conversation from me is all you get for $100. Then he drops his Fruit of the Looms and gets to work showing her what mama taught him. Carol ruins the mood by saying, now I know why your mother calls you a natural born whore. To which he says, that's not the reason. And we watch them bump uglies for a bit before fading to black.
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know, but it was like, how do you not lose it when she brings up your mom?
Yeah. That just deflated everything.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to go try to catch the end of the Super Bowl.
We'll go take another shower.
Maybe he was... Maybe it's supposed to be literal, like he's a natural born, like he was natural birth from a whore. I don't know.
The next day, we're introduced to Harry Dean Stanton's character, Henry, who's kind of Sonny's surrogate dad and guy who drops by to bang Sonny's mom now and again. Henry immediately asks if Carol is any good in the sack and says Jewel, Sonny's mom, would kill him if he ever messed around with one of her girls. Sorry, I'm just imagining Harry Dean Stanton and Mina Savari, and then I think it's safe to say I'm going to skip lunch after this now.
Harry Dean Stanton's Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh, and Henry grabs Carol's ass on the way out to breakfast, so that's fun. It genuinely,
Oh, you old lecher.
Yeah,
he that got apparently was popped in to let the audience know, for whatever reason, I don't know, that we needed to know that Carol is from Arkansas. It's like calls her like a something from Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I thought you were going to say that was unscripted. He just grabbed her ass.
Yeah, he doesn't.
No, it
strike
was
me as that type of guy.
It was added in post, actually. The line for being from Arkansas. But.
We see Sonny at a tailor where he gets a suit taken in and asks for a job, but then a couple of old ladies walk up and one recognizes him from stabbing her in the stomach back before he went in the army. She talks about her previous husband and her new mousy doctor husband for a minute before asking if Sonny is ready to head back to Grannyville or Granny Valley. Sorry. If Sonny is ready to head back to Granny Valley, but he's not because he's not working anymore. The other old lady asks if he'll have a drink with them when she realizes he's the man whore she's heard so much about. And when the tailor hears all the he bangs old ladies for money talk, he says there aren't any openings at the store right now. Well, I mean, I guess there are a couple openings, just not the ones he's interested at the moment. Sonny says fuck it and decides to have a drink with the old Bettys before heading home, only to find out Henry is in jail for shoplifting. Joel says Henry is getting too old to go to jail every week. Since thanks to all those jail visits, he also has a wizard sleep between his legs. Oh, Jesus. Sonny smiles with a look that suggests he's way too baked for this, which is kind of James Franco's default look in this film for whatever reason. And she says they'll need to meet the bondsman at the jail after Carol gets back. Turns out Carol uses her skills to get Henry an early release each time he goes to jail in exchange for some TLC. And by that, I mean they watch Sister Wives, My 600-Pound Life together. It's nothing kinky. It's literally just the TLC channel, which actually kind of sounds like it'd be fun.
That'd be hilarious. Just cut to the bondsman and her.
Just watching trash
Just
TV.
watching garbage television.
I just can't help but eat too much.
Oh, shit. Sonny looks upset that the whore he slept with the night before is off doing whore things and slumps down in a chair.
This is like, this is one of the first points where I was like I don't feel like Cage really like put the emotional pieces together properly, because it's like, why would he give a fuck?
I thought he's like,
care?
To me, taking Nick's side in it, or Cage's side in it, or whatever, the script side, it was like he's just disgusted that that's the life that she's in. He doesn't want that for her. He's done it, and he doesn't want her to be like that. So it's not. I don't think he's like upset at her or disgusted at her. He's just like, fuck, like how do I? You know, she's going through the same thing that I ended up having to go through, and how's she going to get out of it? I at least can go to the army, you know, to get away. Like what?
Yeah,
and you can tell he kind of cares about her already. So it's like, I don't think he's disgusted with the sex work. He's just disgusted that that's the situation that she's now stuck in, like he was.
Yeah, I like that.
When Carol comes home, Joel gets super aggro with her and tells her not to get any ideas about running off with Sonny and to go bang the bondsman. Carol's confused since the bondsman has never wanted a date before, so it's clear Joel lied about all that with Sonny for some reason.
I was very confused as to why.
Again, like going back to, I think this is a failure on Nick's part to make sure there's clarification on this. Like, I guess I'm implying that his mom this whole time is like trying to set him up for failure to come back into this, but it's never really shown to us in a way that confirms it, right? So like I imply that all the bad things that happened to him, minus going to the Texas City thing, which again, maybe that was her plan. Like maybe she did kind of pay off his buddy to say that there was no job. Spoiler alert, but like the little things like that made me think it was his mom orchestrating all these bad things that happen so that he returns to that life of prostitution. But again, it's not shown to us. It's implied just by me probably thinking a little too much about the film. Anyways, I don't know how you guys felt about that.
I definitely don't think she had anything to do with the Texas City thing, but
yeah, I don't.
But yeah,
I think she was being a manipulator, but I don't think she was intentionally trying to orchestrate all these failures for him. I think
that's just the life they have.
Yeah, like it's almost systemic at this point. Like you could see how he's trapped in it. Like there's no other reality for him, no matter what he tries. And that's you know, even without his mom having to try and sabotage him, which I don't think she does a lot of. I think she just emotionally manipulates him.
Yeah, true. Well, at the jail, Sonny looks disgusted with Carol, who had been out turning tricks all day before this. And then back at the house, she drops down on her knees and holds onto his leg like she's in a White Snakes video or something. She tells him she wants to have a baby. The hell? Like, okay. And basically says she hates what she is.
Yeah, it's a kind of an abrupt
it's so out of nowhere
way to do that.
Yeah.
To just shoehorn that in for the character.
Henry and Sonny smoke.
At least have her look at some puppies or something before you say that.
Oh, fuck. Henry and Sonny smoke a couple cigarettes around the breakfast table the next morning, where Henry says Jewel took Carol to go cosplay as a mattress at some hotel for the next week. Henry tells Sonny he needs to face the fact that this is all there is and they accept life as a man horse since the grass isn't greener on the other side. You know, being a normal person comes with just as many headaches, you know, stuff like taxes, mortgages, which are the same as having to dress up like a cop and choke old ladies, if you ask me. It's all relative. And based on the first 20 minutes of the film, yeah, that's right, this is only 20 minutes into the film. Jeez. Sometimes it's a relative you have to bang. Henry tells Sonny he cares for him and just wants the best for him. So he doesn't want to see him dealing with things he's not familiar with, like getting up in the morning, going to work, raising kids, and joining the PTA. Stick to being a whore, okay?
PTA.
Yeah, but he says it like PTA. He says it. He says it weird, but yeah, it's for everybody at home. That's PTA. So just stick to being a whore. Happiness, comfort, and stability fucking blows.
Yeah, it's just awful. Having a roof over your head and knowing that you can pay the bills sucks.
It's terrible.
I'd rather suck.
I'd rather be turning tricks. Sonny says he just wants something to show for himself when he gets old, and for Henry not to worry because Sonny will always love him and Mama. Henry tells him not to pity him since he pities himself because he spent his whole life wishing he was somebody else.
I feel like this is one of the best acted scenes in the whole film.
Oh, 100%.
But I also feel like it's like kind of throwing two different things in here of like, he's like, I don't want you to get hurt and go off and, see that life isn't all that great, when you're living a normal life. But then he's like, you should just be a whore. Just continue being a whore. I don't know.
I think it's to be that it felt real to me because it's like Henry wants more for Sonny, but also Henry also went through this when he was Sonny's age and came to the crushing realization that there's no way out. And so he knows that that's what's going to happen to Sonny and doesn't want it to. It's sort of, maybe it's echoing what Sonny's feeling about Carol. Like Carol's going through what Sonny went through not that long ago. And then Henry's seeing Sonny go through what Henry went through and ended up not being able to get out of it. So it's like you see Sonny with all this optimism, hoping for a better life, and then you see this reflection of this old man who, he did all that too, and then look where it got him. He ended up basically stuck in the same place. So that's basically what we can expect is going to happen to Sonny if something doesn't change.
We could save this for the questions, but do you think that Henry ever was a male prostitute? It makes it feel like he wasn't.
I don't feel like he was. I think he was.
I don't think he was either. No,
just a drifter, petty criminal, whatever. Leeching and living with. I don't know if he was like living with Jewel or just bumming
in the
off of
commentary. Cage said that he lived in an apartment. And she had this place, so he doesn't live with her. No. But then he says, if you come back to my room, and it's like, because he has to pay rent. He says he had just enough money to pay rent and get a drink or something in one scene. Right. So I think he lives somewhere else.
So he's probably, I don't know, just living off of Social Security or whatever and whatever he could shoplift.
Yeah.
Maybe disability, I don't know.
Well, they talked about him having been in the army.
Maybe he's got a pension or something.
Could be, yeah. So if you do the math, he would have potentially have served in World War II, at least Korea at that point, and gotten out prior to Nam. So maybe he has some military pension, a pension from the military.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, it kind of sounds like he got out of the military and like Nigel said, became a drifter and didn't really have any real purpose. So I think that's where like we're about to talk about, there's a switch where he's like, okay, well, Sonny actually does have a plan, so maybe it will work out for him. Whereas I got out of the military and I had nothing and I was left adrift, and this is the life that I ended up falling into.
Harry Dean Stanton in general just always feels like a guy who's like just got out of a boxcar or something.
Down on his luck, just showed up.
He's great in that role. Yep.
He's like, did I ever tell you about that time I was chasing these two wild kids?
I was barking at the TV.
Henry asks about the job in Texas City, and in a heartfelt moment, he tells Sonny, you don't know how much I hope it works out for you. And it's obvious there's something Henry really wants to tell Sonny, but he stops himself and says he just wants to see if one of them can make it in this world. Sonny gets dressed up, hops into the Trans Am, and fires up some Rush. Yeah, that was awesome. While making the trek to Texas to meet his buddy Jesse, who promised him a job at a bookstore. Then Nicolas Cage hits fast forward on all of the footage, and we see a weirdly frenetic montage of Sonny driving while making some very cagey hand gestures.
Like he just took that from Scorsese.
Yeah.
I like when he does that in movies.
I was in this movie with him, and it just got to this point where it was like
Did
loud
that in an
music.
ambulance.
And it's just a crazy movement.
But I love Rush. I'm going to do it to Rush.
He's Tom
Apparently
Sawyer.
he played around with different music in this scene, and he arrived at Rush because it felt like the Gilded Cage kind of, or the Gilded Stage.
Limelight.
Trying to
was
escape
the
the
song.
limelight.
Yeah, I thought it worked really. I was surprised that it worked really well for that scene, and I thought, who did this? Whose idea was this?
Apparently, he had a lot of temp music in, and that's what ended up in the movie. It was like that Bowie song and stuff before Clint Mansell came on board. So Mansell took a lot of cues from what Cage had already dropped in.
That's pretty cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think that song worked really well. It just was kind of jarring having the sped up driving stuff that's just taken straight from a Scorsese movie. In a movie that has been kind of slow and character driven, it just seemed weird.
It's very,
weird transition.
very out of place. Yeah. I mean, it kind of echoes the weird ending of like the way he shot that ending.
Yeah,
But
I guess kind of foreshadowing for that tonal
Sort of.
shift, but I don't think it was the best thing to do for that scene.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best directorial choice. I guess if you're trying to spice up driving from New Orleans to Texas City, you got to do something. But
We got to show him obviously he's super excited
Yeah.
about this, and he's, this is I'm moving on. I'm heading to a whole new life, and things are going to be amazing. And
yeah, I think the transition's fine. It's just doing the weird sped up thing is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he needed to speed up the footage. I think you could have just
show him
faded
celebrating, listening to the music, and head out the window or whatever, driving off.
Act 2. It's about time we had some conflict, wouldn't you say?
In Texas City, Sonny pulls up, and we see the undisputed star of Gone in 60 Seconds, Scott Conn, a.k.a. Jesse, washing his dog outside the house.
The dog was filthy after he washed it, too.
He's just spraying it down with mud.
It really looked like the whole bottom of the dog was muddy.
Sonny mentions the job, and right off the bat, it's clear Jesse knows there is no job. Jesse asks if Sonny went by the bookshop, and Sonny says they told him there are new owners. Womp womp. Jesse looks like he's not in an 80s movie. He looked like some guy in the early 2000s. I don't know what it was.
Scott
It's his
Conn with
hairstyle.
Scott Conn hair.
Yeah, like
he
the
always
gelled
has
hair.
like a stupid mohawk thing that he does all the time.
Yeah.
I don't think people in 1981 in Texas are wandering around with mohawks like that. But I don't know. Maybe it's the setup that he's he's the cool friend.
Yeah, he's on the cutting edge of fashion. He's 20 years ahead of the curve.
He's also timeless, so Scott Conn works in all times.
Scott Conn improves every movie.
Apparently, Scott Conn and James Franco went to acting school together and have been friends for a long time.
Oh, that's kind of cool. They felt like friends to me in this, I guess. So
I think because Gone in 60 Seconds was 2000, right?
I thought it was
later.
later.
Was it? I think it was like 2000. Or
we gotta look this up.
maybe I'm wrong. But
You're right, 2000.
Wow, yeah, I
2000,
felt
okay.
later than that.
So Cage already had a good relationship with him, and he knows, James Conn, because he's a family friend. He's been a friend of the Coppolas since Godfather, of course. So
Wasn't he in Deadfall, or was that Robert Duvall?
Duvall. Wait, was it?
For that one scene in the car at the funeral.
Yeah.
Was it Robert Duvall?
no, that was
Or was it
Peter
Fonda?
Peter Fonda.
Peter Fonda. Yeah,
That's right.
Peter
One of
Fonda
those
is
ones,
also
Peter
a family
Fonda,
friend of the Coppolas. Yeah.
All right, sorry. I remember there was some seasoned actor that was in a really weirdly placed into that scene. Like, what the fuck?
Peter Fonda. Yeah. Well, I gotta go. Put that on the acting reel, man.
Oh, shit.
Well, Sonny asks what happened, and Jesse says his dad got behind on debts and had to sell the bookshop while Jesse was in the army. Oh, and his dad died of cancer, and the house was foreclosed on too. So no wonder he started stealing cars. Sonny asks Jesse what plan B is, and he says he's still thinking about re-enlisting, so it's safe to say they're both screwed. Jesse says it ain't all doom and gloom because he knows some chicks they can bang. That fixes everything. And one of the chicks has an amazing area, which is enough to convince Sonny to go out on a first real date in his life.
God, this
just
is
the way he says that is so fucking.
It's just Scott Conn being Scott Conn. I was like, dude, you're literally the same person in every fucking movie or show.
Pretty much, yeah.
There's no character. It's just you.
We see Jesse and Sonny waiting for their dates outside of a church for some reason. And then they hit up a drugstore. I mean, it's Texas. What are you going to do?
I think it was to like portray that these are like wholesome girls to then make that weird twist that's about to happen. It's supposed to be shocking, which I was just like, what?
Yeah.
This is Cage set all this stuff up specifically to show this like idolized version of the reality that Sonny thinks people actually are. This is what normal life actually is. You go to church, you go to the malt shop.
You blow on your ice cream. You don't blow on your ice cream. My bad. You don't. Normal people don't do that.
So weird.
Why you blowing on it? It ain't hot. He blows on his ice cream before he eats it.
Yeah. He blows on his ice cream.
Mom always says, if you love it, blow it.
Just blow on it. A little bit. After you spit on it, though.
Oh, God damn it. Oh, shit.
Well, they anyway, they pick up their dates outside of a church and they go to a malt shop in a drugstore like it's the 1950s. They go see Chariots of Fire, and Sonny is awkward as hell since he's never been on a date with someone that wasn't 40 years older than him. I thought this was a little weird. Like, he couldn't. You'd think he'd be a little bit. He could turn on the charm, you know? Yeah, he's had a lifetime of practice of it. It's weird.
But I think
guess it's to show that he's.
Yeah,
it's to show he's out of his element. Yeah. Obviously, he's never done anything like this, despite doing a lot of things like this for years. But
yeah,
I don't know. It just seemed like he was a little too childish and awkward. Given what we're told he's really good at, you'd think he could at least be presentable in a social setting.
Yeah, but I think like in his mind, to be that charming, it's associated with I'm playing this role because I'm gonna get paid for this. Because you see that switch as he starts getting back into that life.
Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's a meta commentary on acting too. Maybe a lot of actors are socially awkward, but
could be
when they're on screen, they're magnetic and they can be whatever they need to be.
Yeah. That was one thing in the cop scene that's coming up later. Cage said that he wanted to portray Sonny as actually being kind of a bad actor when he comes to these jobs and stuff. So he's kind of awkward and stilted in that. And I think that might play into this where he's like trying to act like a normal person and he can't.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, he points at some birds in a pet shop window like Rocky Balboa. Yeah, I thought that
or
too.
Mike Tyson.
Then bashfully tries to put his arm around his date. And when they get to the girl's house, his date said he's real smooth and easy, but awkward, like a little kid.
Yeah.
Unpack some stuff there. She makes a move on him, and next thing you know, we see her happy as a clam in bed after having sex with a guy who really knows his way around her happy clam. She tells him he was amazing, and you should do that for a living. Cue laugh track.
Who fucking talks like that?
Sonny, because it was a callback to earlier when she asked, I think, what he does for a living.
I know. But I felt like
anything.
it's just a way to shoehorn in this next part.
Yeah, we have to get to this,
Well, Sonny says that he does do that for a living, or at least he did. And she asks what he means, and he says, I used to be a whore. She laughs it off, but slowly realizes he's serious and decides to go check for herself for herpes in the bathroom or something. Yeah, I liked that because it was like, we talked about this movie deals with stuff that you don't normally see. So when he says, I used to be a whore, she's like, men can't be whores.
Mm-hmm.
Like, which I think
now you sound like a man.
Right. And I still think that's maybe a reaction a lot of people would have even today. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. it was definitely like one of those stigmas against it.
Yeah, I did like that part. Yeah, she's like, oh, he's just funny. That's funny.
Like he can't even open up to her about what he does for a living without being reminded of it, being ridiculed for it, you know.
Still, this isn't something this isn't pillow talk after your first date kind of admission. This is maybe 6 months down the line, I'll tell you.
Yeah. I think it's just he doesn't know how to make these connections with people, so he feels like he has one, so he wants to. That's what you do. You open your soul up. Mm-hmm. You know. Well, in the bathroom, we see Sonny's date chugging something out of an unmarked brown bottle like she's a dainty socialite drinking laudanum in the Old West. Sonny walks in and apologizes, and when he sees that she's drinking codeine, he takes the bottle from her and smashes it before having the mother of all cagey moments. Franco moments? As instructed by Cage? Is it? Could you still count it as a Cagey moment if he's there behind the camera telling him what to do?
That's my one, like, should I put the Franco moments in the Cagey moments?
Yeah, you should.
Because this definitely felt like Cage was like, okay, in this moment, I want you to freak the fuck out.
Yeah, you got this. You got him freaking out in the car after the cop scene thing. Like, you got to definitely include those as Cagey moments.
Those are very Cagey moments. The hand gesture thing. In the car. Because I've seen Cage do that exact same thing in films that we've talked about.
And we all know he loves banging on the roof of fucking cars.
He loves that Jack Nicholson scene in 5 EVPs. Because we've had 3 callbacks to it already. Because there's Color Out of Space, and then there was Red Rock West.
Like Franco overacts at times, but not to this level.
No.
In the cagiest way he could possibly do it.
This was like, you definitely feel Cage's hand on this
100%.
Scene. He's like, I'll show you. Just
mimic me. I bet he did. He probably just acted it out. Smash the bottles like this.
Throw her to the ground. She's got to fall on glass. She's naked, so we need that vulnerability.
I can hear it. I can hear it in his voice. I can hear it saying well, he calls her a junkie, and he starts violently ripping out all the drawers in the vanity while screaming at her. And both of them are butt naked through this whole scene, by the way. He heads to her closet, finds her stash of codeine, and starts throwing the bottles against the door, shattering them to pieces while she screams, "No, you're spilling my medicine!" She tries to get Sonny to stop, but he says, "Fuck you," and violently throws her to the tile floor. Scott Conn sheepishly walks into the room to see what all the hubbub is about, and Sonny tells him that this chick is a junkie.
It's like a scene out of Airplane. He just opens the fucking door. Hey, he's gonna get right in here.
Yeah. You guys need any help? I can get her sisters right over here. I can bring her in too.
I'm just here to wish you luck.
Yeah. Tell you both good luck. We're all counting on you. Jesse says she's not a junkie since it's just cough syrup, and Sonny's taken aback that he knew about her addiction. Jesse says, "So what? I guzzle beer. You break shit. What's the difference?" And Sonny says, "That normal life is supposed to be different."
I mean, as far as like vices, this is a pretty.
It's over the counter, man. How bad can it be?
I mean, this isn't really that bad.
It's just a little lean, man.
It is a problem that you would probably have to address at some point, but like, of all the things to be freaking out about.
Well, it's like you said, he thought this was normal, and it's not even normal. He can't even get away from his life to go on a normal date because he knows immediately that this chick's a junkie because how she's acting for this stuff, and well, what he thinks is a junkie. So it's like think of how many junkies he's interacted with in his life,
like real junkies.
So I think it's just an overreaction of like, I can't get away from it. I can't get away from my life.
Yeah. Why can't anybody be normal? Like that's reality. It's like nobody is normal,
right?
Or what you think is normal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it does kind of give us I think this scene definitely gives us that real sense of his immaturity and him being so naive to a lot of things because of the way he was brought up, right? So I guess we should be feeling sympathetic for his character, but it just, I don't know. For me, it never came. I never felt sympathetic for him. I don't think they did a good job at landing that. But I guess this scene would have been that pivotal moment where you're like, oh, fuck, this kid's childhood was so fucked up. He thinks that there's a real, like, white picket fence life out there, and that's just not how life is.
Yeah. I will say Franco feels very vulnerable in this scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very childlike in his performance. Like when he, like, especially when Scott Kong comes in, is like, "Hey, what's the big deal?" And he's like, "You knew about this?"
Yeah.
Like,
He's taking
right.
it back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chill.
And it makes you feel kind of heartbroken for him a little bit.
Yeah, I never felt that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I could not
I
feel
did.
empathetic for his character. And I don't know if it's maybe just because I don't like James Franco as a person after everything that came out about him. Or
Yeah,
what, or I don't know. I felt
fair.
I felt sympathetic for other characters like Henry and Carol, right? Yeah, Carol. I felt sympathetic for them. But for him, I never felt that. I don't know why. I don't know.
Yeah. Mina Suvari is very good in this at portraying that kind of like vulnerability. And same thing, like she seems like she's actually less childlike than Sonny, but she has that kind of naivety a little bit too. But throughout the course of the film, they switch places where it's like,
Yes, yeah.
Sonny is like wants to get away from this life, and then he's slowly sucked back in. And she starts out, she's like, This is all there is, and then by the end, she's like getting out of the life too.
Sonny's date says she wants him out of her house, prompting Sonny to say,
Why am I unclean? Am I not clean enough for you? Am I sick? Is that why? I'm better than all you fucking bullshit squares. Get him out of here!
"I am better than you." A weird parallel to Red Rock.
Yeah. It says mama speaking through him too.
Yeah. Sonny continues to freak out as the sisters and Jesse all struggle to understand what the hell this freak's problem is, while he continues screaming at all of them, naked. Sonny breaks down sobbing while screaming,
Get the fuck away from me! I'm better than you! I'm better than all of you! Fuck you!
so I guess it's safe to say that he and Jesse didn't buy back the bookstore and reopen it. Just a tad bit of an overreaction to her codeine addiction.
Yeah. It was very, very cagey.
Yes.
Sonny returns home psychologically shattered to his childhood bedroom in the brothel, and again takes solace in the staring at a backlit photo of Niagara Falls on the wall for a second before turning it off, ripping his square clothes off, and popping it on his man whore outfit.
Yeah, this device with this Niagara Falls thing was like, that was his escape to a real, like, normal life. And he comes home and he realizes there is no such thing, and then he just turns that light off, which is, I thought was a cool.
Yeah, it's a good to
detail.
use that prop because that's not even a real photo. It's like a backlit construction. Like it's not even a, it's definitely artificial, even more so than like a photo would be. It's this idealized vision of what he thinks the real world or Niagara Falls or whatever is like.
Yeah, and you can hear the sound of the falls when he's standing in front of it. So I really like that. That was a great choice to use that as a way of him switching his life back off and back on.
Those backlit photos like that used to be everywhere. I don't know if you remember back in the 80s. I think my mom had this exact same fucking picture.
I feel like that one was at there was a Chinese restaurant I used to go to, which I feel like the interior of every Chinese restaurant is perpetually stuck in the 80s, like the decor of every Chinese restaurant you go to. And they had a big wall-sized one of those of some goddamn thing. I think it was a beach or a cityscape on the ocean or something.
That's so funny because I've seen that exact thing several times.
Over a dirty aquarium with too many fish in it. His mom comes in and is stoked to see him back in his gigolo uniform. She calls him Adonis and asks him why he didn't put on his white suit, since I guess that's his final whore form. She comforts him since she can tell normal life didn't pan out for Sonny, and tells him she'll call around town to see if she can hook up her son with some tricks. A lovely, kind, supporting mom. She breaks
you back out there.
She breaks down in joy, realizing that Sonny is returning to the fold, and by that, I mean he's returning to servicing old lady folds. I know where I was going. Jules says Sonny is the only good thing to ever happen to her, and sobs as Sonny slowly comes to grips with, "This is all there is." Next, we see Sonny just absolutely wrecking that old lady we saw at the suit store. Like we saw on our face, like we said on our face-off episode, Sonny plows her like it's October, and he's been planting potato crops since March. Back in the saddle again, or back in the moose knuckle, or whatever.
He really gives it to her. That's like a hard cut from like, oh my God, there's nothing else in this world, and then he just bam, bam, bam. Whoa,
Jackhammer.
That is, yeah. That's a smash cut.
Yeah, literally. Yep.
Oh shit.
She asks if he came, and he says yes, since he's out of practice. We have talked about some really weird shit through the course of this show.
Yes, we've talked about some very strange things. Cage movies go in some really weird directions.
Yeah. That's art, baby.
It's true.
You might not always like it, but it makes you feel things.
Sometimes it's ugly.
Yeah. He tells her he missed her, and she's overjoyed to have access to this Adonis again, but has to get going since she needs to pick up her husband from the airport. She says she'd let Sonny rattle around her insides every week, but she has to be careful with her money since her husband will notice. He watches the checkbook a little bit too closely, she says earlier on.
What'd you spend $300 on?
She asks the whore if she can write him a check since she only has $150, but his unincorporated LLC has some problems with the IRS, so he must insist on cash.
The check just says Spider-Man. $300. Or
I guess that,
Goblin.
Yeah. I guess that sort of settles that it's not legal because he can't just go cash checks for his services. Rather than get the full amount, he asks her if he can get the word out to her bridge club and quilt making friends that he's open for business again. So, tit for tat.
It was so apparently in the original screenplay they weren't all old ladies, but this was a Cage detail. It was like I wanted to show the reality, which is 100% true.
Yeah,
that it would just be
old
lonely
ladies
housewives and older women. So yeah.
Next, we see Sonny calling one of his old contacts so he can get back to work, which is a madam named Maddie who hooks him up with a road trip job, or a road trick, I guess. She hooks him up with some crazy woman who has a policeman rape fantasy of some sort, so Sonny calls Henry to get him a cop outfit.
So that was that Henry's job before
Maybe.
he went into the army? It's like, you got to help me procure different things for these jobs. I don't know.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Because he can steal. He's a good
steal stuff.
thief, so I guess I don't know.
Henry Ben borrows a friend's uniform who works nights on the force. Just kind of Spirit Halloween or something, You'd think he'd have a repertoire of costumes he could wear.
Yeah, you'd think. Does it have to be a real cop's uniform?
Maybe it does.
That was part of the thing. Seems like a lot of effort for a $300 job.
Right. Yeah. Henry's upset to find out Sonny is back being a man slut and tells Sonny that he found him a job at a Safeway warehouse. But Sonny says, "Come on, Henry, half the people in the quarter know me as a whore. No one's going to give me a straight job." But I think part of it is he's getting in his own way here. Like he could just try and go out and just no one at Safeway is going to give a shit. Or a gas station or any other job you could take,
Personally, at a Safeway warehouse, I think people would be like, "Whoa, that's the coolest fucking thing I've ever heard."
Yeah.
What's sex like? I ain't had it yet.
Really, no, he's not going to be that popular. People aren't going to know him as a man whore.
No.
And he can say he's a veteran, he can get a job anywhere.
Yeah.
And you go back to the suit store thing. I mean, it was clear that the guy knew Sonny.
Right.
But I think he thought that Sonny was going legit, or maybe he never knew that Sonny was a whore at that point and was probably going to help him out. But then the old women kind of ruined that a little bit.
Henry tries to talk Sonny out of going back to the prostitution, but it's clear Sonny has given up on his dream of a normal life. So like I said, he's just got the excuses are too easy now. He could still go. He tried to find one job with his friend in a different state, and that didn't pan out. And he's like, fuck it. back to whoring, I guess.
I think he saw a glimpse of what he thought normal life was and realized
yeah,
that it's
he's just
the
completely
shittiest.
disillusioned. Like, it's just not going to be any different. So I might as well do what I'm good at type of thing.
Yeah.
Plus, wrapped up in there, like, he doesn't want to let his mom down. He wants to support her. And,
Yes.
and, you know, she's manipulated him into feeling obligated. So
I think in that scene where she's like sobbing on him and he's like putting on his whore outfit, that was kind of the moment where he's like, you know, I need to take care of her, and this is how I can do that. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
next, we see Sonny pull up to Terrence McDonough's dad's house. What the fucking... I mean, he pulls up to a huge plantation house in the Louisiana countryside dressed as a cop. You know, it's like either Terrence McDonough's house or Walter's house from Grand Isle. It was the same fucking. I guess all those houses have a very similar look.
Yeah, that kind of like Louisiana plantation home thing. I don't think that I mean, like, I've spent enough time in Louisiana to know that that's not like the norm. But I think if you're making a movie and you're setting it in Louisiana, you're like, yeah, definitely go get one of those houses.
Right. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's supposed to be, you know, upscale, affluent woman paying for services. So it makes sense. The woman who answers the door plays dumb when Sonny does his cop shtick, but it's all part of the foreplay. He searches the house for a minute before asking where the bedroom is, and she's a little upset that there's only one cop there to rape her. I mean, search for a prowler. I paid for two. Yeah.
I wondered about that, like, because she only gives him $300.
Yeah, maybe she was expecting more and only gave him half. She closes the door behind him in the bedroom, and Sonny feverishly tries to get it hard as the lonely housewife starts groping him, and then she starts sucking on his nightstick. His actual nightstick, not that other thing. It's not a euphemism. Yeah. Well, it is, but it was also literal.
Yeah.
He turns around and says, "All right, lady, you're under arrest," and then throws her on the bed and handcuffs her to the bedposts.
I like that she's like playing along the whole time and just leaves her hand up.
Yeah, she just leaves her hands up,
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a twist. Like, did he get the wrong house? Like, is this actually some? Like, she thinks he's a cop. Like, like a horrible twist that they would throw into it. That's why I honestly thought that's where it was going.
And then he has to murder her.
He goes to get up in them old lady guts, but she insists that he uses the nightstick, and he reluctantly obliges. Oh, God. Things then turn slow-mo, and we hear her screaming in ecstasy before cutting to Sonny drinking whiskey. That's right. Stuff it down with Brown. We could all use a drink after that scene.
Yeah. That was Cage said he set up that shot specifically to show like the disgust on his face and like him being just completely fucking like, oh my God, this is what I got to do again.
And then they put it in slow-mo so you get a real nice look at his face. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh my God.
And the nightstick going in.
I think it's the part of the movie where I really started drinking.
You stuffed it down with Brown.
The lady tries to stiff Sonny, not like how Sonny stiffed her. I mean, she tries to get away with paying $200 rather than $300. This prompts Sonny to freak out again. He chucks a bottle of Jack Daniels against the wall and then screams like he's a kid trying to work his way through college that can't get paid sleeping with sleazy old broads. So, like, is this part of the kink, or is he genuinely upset?
I was like, I feel like this is another like callback to Cage not really knowing how to like paint these things, because like we just showed that he was like acting in the last scene, and then it kind of like made it seem like when she stiffed him that she was like trying to get him to get riled up and break some shit so that she could get off some more. But then it seems like he's genuinely upset, especially when he goes to the car. Afterwards.
I didn't take it from the angle that she was trying to do it as part of the stick. I think she was trying to actually stiff him, and because it's like, what are you going to do? Is he going to go tell the cops?
Yeah.
You know, but then it's like, I think he gets pissed off that he's had to do this before, probably a lot, and he doesn't like doing it. And it's like, why can't anything be easy? You know, that's the sense that I got from it. It's like, fuck it. I gotta extort this lady because she won't just pay me the money for the job I didn't even want to do in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's just a reminder of how much he hates the shit life that he has to do. That's why I took from it. But Anyway, he smashes her TV, rips some curtains off the wall, and she crumples up another 100, chucks it on the floor, and says, "There, whore." This must have been the scene that convinced Tommy Wiseau, since it kind of mirrors that final freak out from the room.
It does.
Sonny takes the money, and in the car he flips out again, since I guess he's upset with the monster he's been forced to once again become. And by the way, the flip out of the car is extremely cagey.
Yeah, it is breathtakingly cagey. Which, in the commentary, Cage said that he told him to just go for it and go as big as you want to go.
Yeah.
And that's what Franco came up with.
I feel like that's Cage's MO in a lot of the stuff, too. So
100%.
it would make sense. That's the direction that he would give him. Like, go as hard as you want, and we can dial it back if it's not working, but if it works, it works. You know?
And of course, when he goes crazy with it, he's like, "Man, that was amazing."
Right. Perfect.
No more.
cuts.
We don't need any more cuts. We need 2 cuts or 2 takes
shots.
maximum for everything.
Yeah.
That's the way a real director works.
I heard Lucas did this on the Star Wars.
Didn't he?
Yeah.
He said that about Werner Herzog, right? He said like, this is how a real director works, and it was like 2 scenes or 2 cuts or 2 takes total for like each shot that they were doing.
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Let's just go nuts. Swing for the fences with everything you're doing, and then we'll call it good.
Yell out the iguanas.
Back home, we see Sonny in his underwear, some leg weights, and a headband doing calisthenics while his ass is like 6 inches from his mom's lap, and she admires the goods. This relationship creeps me out.
What the fuck was with this scene?
I mean, it's her handiwork, you know?
Yeah.
Doing
Gotta
karate
admire
in the
it, so-
garage, it looked like.
It's kind of like, he's getting back into his full form. It's like Batman training, get back into the suit.
Yeah. Sonny asks if he can pick up Carol from the hotel she's been cooped up in, pretending to be the little sperm maid for the last week. And Jewel asks if he wants to work some doubles with Carol. He says, "Why not?" And she says she'll hook it up. Sonny pops into the hotel Carol's at, and now we see some dude doing voodoo while some weird-looking chick with a peg leg says, "Fuck me now, Reggie!"
Mirrored that a little bit too, right?
Yeah, it did.
There was a lot of things that like reminded me of the other New Orleans films that we've talked about. A lot of little echoes.
Which would make sense because Nick Cage in New Orleans, and he was in those movies,
And
so
Harry
he took
Dean
that
Stanton,
stuff away.
like,
Yeah, I'm sure. Like he cast Harry Dean Stanton because he didn't work with him, and they never shared a scene together in Wild at Heart, did they?
No, I don't think they did. But he
probably liked his
he's
work
known
in
him
it.
for a long time, and he said he loves Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah, and I'm sure this is why James Franco's in the after credits scene of Wicker Man or whatever, is because he worked with him on this and then did Wicker Man. And, hey, I know a guy. No, whatever.
Let's get Spider-Man for this 2-second scene
Green
that
Goblin.
will be cut from the director's cut or whatever.
This guy recognizes Sonny and is overjoyed to see him. And for some reason, Sonny has a cut near his eye that I don't think gets explained. Yeah, I wondered. He just got maybe roughed up doing another job or something.
Apparently it was a deleted scene where he gets roughed up by a cop. But Cage said it was fine we didn't have to explain it because Sonny freaked out in the car and slammed his head on the steering wheel at some point. And I was like, I don't even remember him hitting his head on the steering wheel, but
yeah, I don't remember that. But yeah,
he
it
has
worked.
it for most
I
of the
just
rest of
thought
the
it.
film.
Yeah, I thought it was like he maybe was supposed to have gotten it when he was breaking stuff in her house or something, and maybe some glass. I don't know. Or I just figured like it's just to show that he's in this rough life again, and something happened to him on one of the jobs we didn't see. But yeah, it is a weird thing to include without an overt explanation for it.
Yeah.
Well, he asks the voodoo guy if he has any pony rides so he can hook him up with. And the guy tells Sonny that he rarely gets calls anymore unless it's a farmer's wife who wants a grudge fuck. Sounds like a good name for a band.
Grudge Fuck. That was apparently the name of the movie at one point. It was Pony Rides. And Cage was like,
Grudge Fuck.
That's too far.
Pony Rides. The voodoo guy calls for Carol, and we see Sonny lift a painting off the wall, which reveals a bullet hole that he explains to Carol is from when Sonny's whore mom was being abducted by her former pimp, and Sonny's dad blasted a shotgun in front of the guy's face to scare him off. And he never fixed the wall. Like,
what a wonderful
like 20
childhood.
years.
Slap a painting over it. It's good.
Yeah, I think that's to show like he's been in this shit since infancy, basically. He says that's the only story he knows about his dad, and they never met him since he just up and left. Or to quote Wild at Heart, the fuck a split. Get it? Because it's the same guy. Spoilers.
The fuck a split.
Carol and Sonny walk to his car as Carol says that the guy she blew for the Trans Am wants to marry her, and for some reason a weird gang of 5 dudes yell shit and make hand gestures behind them while passing a bottle around.
Troy, the trick who loans his car, has been after me and marry him for over a year. I keep waiting for something better to happen.
Rico.
Rico. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
That's what I thought it was.
I fucked your girlfriend.
No serves, no purpose in the movie. No one ever acknowledges them. It's just a random detail in the background, I guess, to make the place seem seedier. Or maybe those are the guys Carol's been sloshing around in her insides right now.
Very Lynch-esque moment coming out from another very Lynch-esque.
Cage said that it was specifically those were the guys who just had sex with her.
Yeah, I figured. Because one of them does scream, "Hey, what do you say? Hey, dude, I just fucked your girlfriend."
Something like that, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we cut to Henry playing gin with Seymour Cassell, a.k.a. Albert. Henry loses and reluctantly has to cough up his last $40. Back home, Jewel lets Sonny and Carol know that she's got plenty of work lined up for him. And when Harry comes back in, she reminds him that the next day is her birthday, and he promised to take her to some fancy restaurant they used to go to when they were a young whore and thief couple. He clearly forgot, and since he has less money than a garden slug, he tries to convince her they should go next year. She yells at him for gambling and drinking all his money away, and he says, "I don't say anything about your ass getting fatter by the minute, so don't say anything about my drinking and gambling."
Charming.
Yeah, well, this charming prequel to an episode of Cops is going on. Sonny laughs at the cute, charming couple as Jewel tells Henry to go steal something so they can go out for her birthday. Aw. Henry says if he takes her to the restaurant, he wants her to come stay in his room, prompting her to say, "Not in front of my boy." Well, that's where she draws the line.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Henry says Sonny's a grown man, and besides that, she's had him out selling his cock since he was 12. And this Dickensian moment prompts a smile and for her to say, "I'll think about it." And nothing butters up a woman better than reminding her she's been pimping out her own kid since he was in 5th grade. Henry leaves and Sonny says, "Hey, Mom."
God damn it.
"Why don't you just give him some pussy?"
I was hoping you would just gloss over that part.
We have to this scene is so, it's like painted as just like this quirky little moment between this couple, but it's like so unbelievably fucked up. Like every bit of it is so messed up.
Well, at the fancy restaurant, we see Henry and Jewel arrive in the finest sophisticated clothes that stealing and pimping can provide. Henry toasts to the finest little lady in the state of Louisiana, and Jewel awkwardly says, "Gee, Henry, you're going to make me cry." And Henry chugs the entire glass of wine in one gulp.
It's an expensive gulp.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We find out through conversation that Henry and Jewel have been together for 30 years, and Jewel asks if they should tell Sonny that Henry is actually his father. Henry says absolutely not, and if she ever does, she'll never see him again before saying, "Hey, you know you got the prettiest pussy?" Dude knows how to charm a lady.
Should we tell Sonny about you being his father? You know what? You got the prettiest pussy. What the fuck, dude?
We see the maitre d' notice that Jewel has slipped off her shoes under the table and tells her she has to put them back on. She says she always takes off her shoes when she's eating. And he says if she doesn't put them back on, he'll have to ask her to leave, and is a real dick about it. And he clearly doesn't want these people here.
Not even housebroken. Put your shoes back on.
Henry sees Jules' embarrassment and takes it upon himself to follow the guy into the back, throw him against a wall, and stick a butter knife in his nostril. Henry tells the guy to apologize or he'll stick a knife in his gut. So the guy obliges.
Do you think she slips her shoes off when she's eating? No, never mind.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Always.
Act 3. It's about time to wrap this thing up.
Carol and Sonny arrive at the home of the other old lady that we saw in the suit store earlier. You know, the one that looked like she was married to a Republican, not the one whose guts Sonny rearranged earlier.
God damn it.
It was that haircut. It looks like something Hillary Clinton would have sported back in the day. Inside, there's some sort of hoity-toity party going on. You know, the kind of party where in a 3-minute conversation between drinks, a couple guys decide to strip all health benefits during Q4. That kind of party. We see the upper crust of New Orleans living it up, and that Sonny has finally taken to sporting his famous white suit again, which I think is perfect. It's like getting into Act 3. That's when he's full whore. We've seen him kind of like go from like he was in a suit and his army uniform in the first act, and then the second act he's wearing that purple thing with the vest, and then by the end he's back to full pre-army Sonny. He's gone full Megatron, or I guess Megadong.
God damn it.
The old lady introduces the couple to her husband, and he leers at Carol while saying, "You real nice." Why say lot word when think with dick?
Oh, shit.
The party slowly disperses, and once the couple is left with Sonny and Carol, they all get down to business. The old lady gets super moist while watching Sonny seductively eat a sandwich. But then she gets coy with him when he starts putting the moves on her. He rips her dress, like rips the front of her dress off. And then she says, "What are you going to do?" To which Sonny says,
I'm gonna fuck your brains out, lady.
like, wow, he's really going for it. It's like, I think he has to like sense what each different trick like wants out of him.
Yeah.
And like sometimes they want him to be sweet, sometimes they want him to be aggressive. Sometimes they straight up want him to rape them with a nightstick. So
Yeah.
he's playing the part.
That's why he's so good.
Yeah. So he's a natural born whore. Then he
That should
pulls
be
her
the name
down
of
to
the
the Then he pulls her down to the ground while talking about the beast in him and takes her right there in the kitchen. It would have been funny if like the staff was still working, cleaning up.
I was waiting for somebody to
Yeah, I
walk
was like,
in.
I was like, the way it was, it's like, is the party still going on?
It kind of feels like it a little
It
bit.
kind of just felt like it went
No,
right from
you
the one scene to the
watch
next.
people leave, right? And then she escorts
Yeah, but you
the
still see the
last couple
cleaning
out.
crew and like
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. I
Just
was
see
waiting
them
for
still in the
staff to walk in and be like, oh, all right. Mind if I
Just
join?
Step over them. I gotta
They're
do the
used to
dishes.
it. Yeah, they're probably used to it.
Yeah. While all this is going on, Carol is unenthusiastically bouncing on the husband upstairs while a Devo song struggles to get started in the background.
You must whip it.
Like that?
Oh, yeah. Faster.
It's such a weird, like, it's just like just one little loop of like a 80s Devo style song or something.
Also, why is that room so empty?
Yeah. It felt very
It's literally
Kubrickian.
just a
Yes.
fucking bed.
Very, very Kubrickian. Yeah. It just felt like it's very, so this was a real house of somebody who actually lived in New Orleans and they didn't change anything. Most of the scenes that we see in other people's houses are just their houses. Like the scene with the two sisters, that was just somebody's house. And he said that they didn't even redress it. They just went in as is and filmed that whole thing.
Which is nice. It felt lived in. It felt like
Yeah.
Yeah, it felt real. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt real.
Yeah, it's one way to
But
do
this
it. And cheap.
gigantic scene or gigantic bedroom, maybe it was to show how empty like life
It's kinda
is
what
for
I thought.
these rich
Yeah,
people.
I
boring and plain.
I kind of wonder if that was his take on like, hey, look, these people are wealthy and influential, but
They have
they're
nothing.
empty. Yeah,
Yeah.
The inside they're empty.
Sonny walks into the doorway with the old lady, and they watch Carol work for a bit. It's kind of a cool shot where she's like unenthusiastically going to town. Then Sonny walks in, and she turns and sees him, and then she gets a big smile on her face and gets back to bouncing. After the deeds are done, Mr. and Mrs. Deed pay up. And their kids run into the room as the two prostitutes make their way out.
Yeah, that was fucking weird.
I was like, okay, so there had to have been like some staff there, and
Right,
like the
watching
staff
the kids.
knew to like keep the kids away from this awfulness. Ugh. It just makes you wonder like how often this kind of thing is going on, and like in you drive by a house and you don't really think much of it, but like some nefarious shit could be going on in
think
any one
it's-
of those.
Yeah, I think it's more often than we think, which is
Sometimes there's a whole island you can go to and
god damn
all kinds
it.
of stuff. If you got enough money.
Sometimes there's a whole rapper's mansion you can hang out in.
Yeah.
You know, it's common enough that people pay Venmo for it, apparently.
Yep,
Politicians do.
Yeah, sorry,
some of
Nigel,
them are
that money's
still
on the
in
way.
office.
Some of them are still in office.
Yep.
Some of them do
100%.
it in the middle of opera.
Some of them are paid by Russia over Venmo,
Yep.
Carol and Sonny leave during a rainstorm, and in the car, soaking wet, Sonny makes fun of Carol's running makeup and then says,
That was a real winner you got in there. Her.
Very cagey.
another cagey moment, like, yeah, just say "rawr" a bunch. I don't know. It was very weird. Like, it didn't feel in character either. It was like,
Yeah.
he said that he wanted them to just have a playful moment. It's kind of like, a normal couple. You'd come home and talk about your day and talk about what idiot did something at your job. And this is their version of that.
Yep. You
Is
see
this
that
supposed to be
doofus?
Is this supposed to be the next morning too? Because
Yeah. I think
Okay.
it's the following one or the morning of that night, whatever. Like they
Yeah.
left the house and went to do this.
okay.
Because they're still wearing all their clothes.
Yeah, because I was like, I wasn't sure if like, is this the next day or did they just fuck
No, I think
up
they
and
were
not
leaving
remember?
the house and then
Yeah.
they run through the rain.
Because she
and
says
they get
something
in
like,
the
or
car.
he's like, let's go for a drive. Or
Right.
they say
right.
something.
Yeah,
And
and then the
even-
sun comes up as they're driving
Oh, okay.
out to the country.
'Cause I
So,
thought okay.
so it was after the party, and assuming the party ran till 11 or 12 or something, and
Yeah.
then they had sex all night or whatever, and left in the twilight hours.
Okay.
They laugh and laugh about boffing the old fuddy-duds, and Carol suggests that they go for a drive as Hurricane Katrina happens all around them.
Jesus.
They head to the country somewhere, and as dawn breaks, Carol jumps out of the car and runs into a muddy field. And Sonny's not into it since he's wearing a $600 suit. But she sweet talks him into it and gives him a look, and he joins her, and they stroll through somebody else's property, I guess.
Yeah. I feel like you get shot
Trespass,
doing that
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah. So they're walking around somebody else's property, and then Carol tells him that she loves him. Like, they've known each other for like a week at this point. I feel like we established it as basic because she goes to the hotel and she's only there for a week. And this is like right after he's picked her up from that hotel, like a couple days later or something. So that's pretty quick. Must have been all that training that his mom gave him, She just fell right in love with that.
She's in love with the D.
It starts raining the second that she confesses her love, so they run to a nearby barn where they make out on a hay bale surrounded by cow shit. And so hot.
freakish
Just that smell in the
alpaca
air.
chimeras.
It's an alpaca.
I saw an internet video like this before.
Oh, God. Carol hears a sound of some sort, and then she spots a dog with a whole litter of puppies. I mean, I guess. Okay. I guess the dog came to the barn to have the puppies. Very strange symbolism, I guess. Here again, over your like smashing it over your head symbolism here.
Yeah, not very subtle.
No. Carol starts crying, and Sonny kind of makes fun of her. And in a really weird cut, Carol cuts her hand on a nail or something. It was almost like at the beginning of the shot is when he yelled action, and then she like grabs the nail, and then I don't know how you cut yourself on a nail that's not like sticking out. It's just the end of the nail.
Yeah.
When Sonny tries to help, she gets all emotional about wanting a baby again. She says she doesn't want to be a whore her whole life, and Sonny tells her she shouldn't have a baby since the kid will most likely grow up like him, and she'll be stuck being a whore while destroying the baby's life in the process. Trying to stop her from repeating his mom's trajectory, which I could totally see happening, and like I could totally see that happening after this. Like maybe she gets together with this Troy dude, and then she has a baby, and then she ends up just going back to being a whore. It's literally the only thing she knows how to do. Though, I mean, I think you could get a job at fucking CVS pretty easily and figure that out. Not to disparage CVS. Whores, only whores work there.
I mean, I think that's
I'm not saying that.
I think it's a good place to get started because I bet her resume is pretty limited.
Pretty sparse, yeah. She responds by saying Jewel never wanted him in the first place and that he was an accident, which is pretty fucked up. And then she runs off into the rain where Sonny tackles her in a mud puddle. This whole scene just really pulled me out. Not just because it feels kind of out of place and shoehorned into the movie, but like they look like they're freezing their fucking asses off through the whole thing. Like Mina Savari is like trembling. Which I guess adds to the emotion, but at the same time,
it's not very well acted.
You know that she's freezing. Yeah,
it's not The Notebook.
No. And like from what I've heard, so they had to do the weather wasn't cooperating, and they had to have those rain machines. And what I've heard is the water in those things is freezing cold, and everybody complains about them because I mean, if you want to make $1 million invention right now, create some sort of way of heating up that water before it lands on your
create some sort of water heater.
Yeah,
they have inline water
those exist.
I think it's just the sheer amount of water that has to come out in order to make it believable as a rainstorm. It's hard to heat that all up without like burning your actors.
What, you guys wanted to be warm? Now you're ungrateful?
Now you're on fire. Carol apologizes and asks Sonny to marry her so they can go live a normal life somewhere. But he says it's unpractical. He says it's unpractical since they're not like everyone else. She begs him to tell her someday things will be different, but he can't bring himself to say it. It's just kind of like giving up at this point. Like he said, I think he's just in his own way. Like he totally could go back to a normal life, but he just doesn't feel like that kind of thing even exists, really.
Yeah.
So why not make $300 a day, I guess? I don't know. Back home, Carol tells Sonny she's decided to marry that greasy car dealer she blew for Sonny's car. He tries to talk her out of it, but she wants to move on with her life, which is going to be a great life, I'm sure. She again asks him to take her away instead, but he turns her down again before rudely dismissing her after she starts like grabbing onto him and stuff. He's just kind of like, okay, get away from me. As she leaves, he stops her, and with tears in both of their eyes, he tells her congratulations. In a sincere way, not in a go fuck yourself kind of way. Congratulations. I know you'll make it.
Yeah.
That's what I got out of it. I don't know. It was also kind of vague emotionally.
It's supposed to be conflicted, bitter, happy, upset.
Yeah.
I got that he's more bitter.
Yeah. Yeah,
Because
he like only got to work this one job with her, and now is like his favorite person is heading out,
yep.
leaving him behind. We see Henry again playing cards, but this time around he wins $60, which he's over the moon about since he apparently never wins anything. He tells Albert that things are turning around for him, and today is his day. Cue slide whistle. Henry hops in the car, pulls out, and immediately is plowed into by a huge truck that, based on the fireball created immediately after striking Henry's car, must have been constructed out of gasoline. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Just blows up immediately.
Yeah, it was like a comedy shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell?
Everything's working out for me.
Unintentionally funny.
Maybe it's like in Lord of War, because he's so full of alcohol, he just exploded.
It was like, oh, is he going to end up in the hospital or something? Nope. Giant explosion. Nope. He's dead.
We cut to Henry's funeral, or the three characters Henry interacted with in the movie, minus Carol. I guess she's moved on.
She's gone. Yeah.
Minus the one character he groped earlier.
You gonna come to his funeral? No, I grab my ass all the time. Fuck that guy.
He's grabbing my ass. At home, Jewel tells Sonny that Henry was his dad. And through a scene with a lot of snot and Jewel laying on a Creole accent a little too thick, she says Henry didn't want Sonny to know that his father was a failure. So I guess it's just better that he grow up with no father at all. The fuck kind of logic is that?
Yeah.
Like,
although
the only thing he knows
that
about his dad is that he shot at a pimp.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared and left his kid behind forever. So I guess that's better than knowing that his dad is a thief and drunk. Sonny says they're all failures. And then he splashes a drink all over himself, which I'm guessing wasn't scripted. He like puts the drink down and just splatters up on him.
Yeah.
But Franco rolled with it, I guess. Sonny then laughs and gives Jewel a stoned look or does a Robert De Niro impression or something. He's got this, I don't know, very De Niro-esque. Before flipping over the coffee table and telling her that she should have told him. Kind of like a moment where it almost feels like he's just about to beat the shit out of her or something. Yeah. Which I think was intentional, like to try and show that. I think there's several moments in the movie where you kind of feel this danger from Sonny, like that he might snap at any moment because he has a lot of little like severe anger management style flip outs.
Yeah.
He storms out and pounds a couple tequila slammers at a bar, and next we see him drunkenly stumbling through the French Quarter with tears in his eyes. Then he watches some dude mimic his guitar playing with his tongue. Then he grabs another drink, one of those like it's like a hand grenade that you get in New Orleans. Those things are pretty popular. And walks directly at the camera and stands there staring at us while the footage is sped up for a while. Usually when a character stops and stares directly into the camera, it's to like put something on the audience, like maybe we're the ones who are hiring this whore to stop. I don't know if that was intentional, if that was what Cage was trying to convey.
Yeah.
But, it's a odd, off-putting little scene that apparently, like I said, was just they had to film it on the fly with no permits and had to get what they could, I guess. Oh, it'll be cool if you just stare into the camera. I don't know why. Eventually, Sonny makes his way to a house where he asks to talk to Acid Yellow. And some guy dressed like a WWE wrestler with a gray mullet escorts him inside.
This way, brother.
So this is, I heard in the commentary, this is somebody's real house, and this is their real husband. This is the guy. This guy owns this house, and that guy was his husband or partner or whatever you could do in the 80s.
Which guy? The gate guy or the
gay
bouncer?
guy?
Okay.
The bouncer dude.
Explains why that guy's acting was so terrible.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really have to say anything, but like Cage just really liked the guy's look. Yeah. Like he's wearing like a leprechaun outfit with like gold chains and a gray mullet, and like it's just a weird looking dude.
Very 80s, man.
Very 80s. Yeah. He was like Cage said that Acid Yellow and the bouncer guy were very similar to people that he had met several times when he was living in New Orleans in the 80s. It was
I believe it.
This felt very authentic.
Yeah.
Anyway, finally, an hour and 33 minutes into Nicolas Cage's directorial debut, we finally see the man himself. Acid Yellow is enjoying some cocaine while a drag queen reads him some Mark Furman fan fiction or some shit. I don't know what was going on there, but it just was really fucked up. There's some weird, like, so like we're supposed to be looking through Sonny's POV here.
Yeah.
And I guess we were supposed to be disoriented with like random things being said over the top of the weird-ass sound track that's going on here.
I was deep into some Kirkland brand margarita mix at this point. Really, it was frankly, it was awesome. This scene is awesome when you're wasted.
I guess that's the big suggestion after doing this movie is just watch it drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get drunk by the second half and it definitely enhances the experience.
Just kind of follow Sonny's trajectory.
Descent. Yeah.
Acid Yellow is overjoyed to see Sonny, and he's like some sort of gay pimp who dresses like Liberace with a perm and Elton John glasses. It's gotta be just completely Cage. This is him going full Deadfall of like, I get to do whatever I want. So here we go. Buckle up. He said that this is actually a real jacket that was owned by Liberace. And he bought it at an auction. For whatever reason, he said, "Oh, maybe somebody else uses this for a movie," and here it is. This is a real.
I don't
jacket
think that
from
was why.
Liberace.
He probably just bought it because it was cool. Like he likes to buy things. Yeah, it just happened to be. Hey, I could use that Liberace jacket I got. That's awesome.
So Cage, man. He asks Sonny why he's there, and for some reason we hear someone yell, "'Cause Daddy's gonna suck Sonny's dick," for absolutely no other reason than I guess to disorient us.
Yeah.
I was so confused. Like, did the drag queen next to him say that? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Acid Yellow starts coughing, and he says he hasn't felt well lately, and since this is a movie, we can imply that he is knocking on death's door, presumably because of AIDS, since this is set in 1981, which is right before the epidemic really starts to spiral out of control. I actually read the other day that somebody in the 60s had all of the symptoms for AIDS way back then. I was like, I had never heard that it went back that far. And it was the exact same, like hematomas and all that kind of stuff exactly lined up with AIDS. And that was, 14 years before this. So it had been spreading for a long time. And I don't think anybody knew anything about it, or they just didn't care because it was mostly affecting gay people and how things were like back then. But anyways, it's crazy to think that it could have been spreading for 15 years before anybody really even did anything about it or warned people about it.
All right.
That's crazy. Acid Yellow says Sonny certainly looks delicious, and Sonny asks him to be set up on a date. So this is such a weird turn for me of like, why exactly did Sonny come to Acid Yellow? Did he actually want to have sex with a man? Did he want to because he pays better? That was my thought process. Like, okay, he's coming here to make some money so that he can help get a new life started. But no, it turns out to be none of those things. I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense. Even after we know everything, I don't even really understand why he came there aside from just to cause some fucking havoc. I don't know. Acid Yellow is shocked since he's tried and failed to get Sonny to work for him before and wants to know why he's decided to just start batting for the other team all of a sudden. Fair question. Sonny yells for him to get him a date because he, quote, wants some rough trade because he's got a lot of energy. Just going to leave that one alone. Acid Yellow, of course, that's Nicolas Cage's character name, Acid Yellow, says he has a gentleman on the way who normally sleeps with some guy named Rick, who also seems to be under the weather recently. Really sprinkling that in. While all this is going on, the music warbles in and out. Everything is all blurry. There's a dog that's been completely painted red that walks along the bar, and a 250-pound drag queen built like a linebacker holds Acid Yellow's snorting straw for him while wearing a tiara the whole time. That apparently was one of Nick Cage's friends. And he was like, hey, makes a great drag queen.
That's a great friend.
It's just like, hey, you know what'd be fucked up?
Being Nick Cage's friend must be awesome.
Yeah.
Must be the best, best thing ever. Yeah, we're hanging out with Andrew Dice Clay tonight. What?
I go play poker with Jerry Lewis. You in?
What the fuck is going on here?
Definitely, I am in. Suddenly, Acid Yellow yells, I love coca, after snorting a line, and asks if Sonny knows what is expected of him on this trick. Sonny tells him to just show him the room, and then gay Willy Wonka escorts him to a bedroom while telling Sonny not to mess this up because this guy is like his most important trick. Like this person who has never done a job for him, he's setting him up with the most important person he has.
Right. I think he's just a big fan of Sonny. Like he's always wanted to have Sonny come work for him, I guess. I heard great things about him, maybe.
I mean, you know, I would imagine it's hard to find somebody as good looking as James Franco to do a job like this. So I guess I get it.
Who's also not dying of AIDS, I guess.
Exactly, yeah. This guy's like a prominent insurance executive of some sort. Like trying to think of like what New Orleans would be like an insurance executive down there. But maybe it's just the same gang as from Bad Lieutenant. Like those guys.
He works for State Farm.
Yeah, he's a State Farm executive. He tells Sonny to be fun but kinky, and then asks again if he knows what he's doing. He's like, yeah, I think he's trying to like be like, hey, you really are gonna go through with this because you have told me many times that you didn't want to do this. I don't know. It's weird. Sonny tells him to shut up and get out. And Acid says, you do have some energy tonight. I love Cage's accent. Yeah. It's like weirdly like, I don't know. It's like he's putting on a Liberace thing.
Yeah.
When Sonny is alone, he stares at himself in the mirror for a long beat before Warren Zevon enters the room. I mean the insurance guy. Scotty enters the room. It does look like Warren Zevon, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Especially 80s Warren Zevon.
Yeah.
This guy fidgets like a little kid for a minute before saying, I've been a bad, bad boy, and says he needs to be punished. He gets down on his knees, and Sonny asks him why he needs to be punished. So the guy says he's been mean to the people that work for him. Sonny asks this dude, who just came there to get his rocks off, seriously, if he knew his father. And when the guy says his father is dead, Sonny says, so is mine, and then just kicks him in the face. Like, what? What? I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, there's no logical like just fight somebody on the street in New Orleans while you're walking around. Like, why did you go here?
I think
he wants this relationship with this guy that he's known for a long time. Apparently,
I think it's like he wants to take his. He's finally hit his breaking point. Obviously, he's wasted. That impairs your judgment and your inhibitions. he wants to take it out on people engaged in this lifestyle that he doesn't want to be a part of anymore. So I think he wants to go find a guy to beat the shit out of to take his anger out on it. But it's like,
why not beat up Acid Yellow or something? Like,
maybe he likes Acid Yellow. I don't know.
It's just weird.
You know, and it's like maybe he's just a closet homophobe and he really wants to
maybe
beat up gay men. I don't know. It didn't seem that out. It was like jarring, but it seemed like it made a certain amount of sense to me in my drunk state. I guess maybe that helped. I was like,
hey, maybe I need to get drunk and watch it.
Yeah, I mean, it did. Can't say it made the experience worse. It was. I think it was just he was just show that he's finally taking this anger out of his hopelessness of a situation, you know, on somebody who would maybe be a natural victim in this scenario. I don't know.
Well, the guy says that he wants to be punished, so I think he was planning to like smack him around a little bit. But maybe he just went.
Yeah,
too
that's
far.
a good question. Like, was he planning to just go there? And
when he throws him on the bed, he starts apologizing. And the guy says it's not your fault, which is also strange to me. I'm like, I think maybe he legitimately went there to try it out, to try, you know, turning tricks with men just to see if it was, because it's like, you know what, I've done everything else. Like, what the hell difference does it make if I can make more money at it? And then he just loses control there because this guy's, you know, I don't know. He's trying to work through his aggression and his own abandonment daddy issues and stuff that he's got. And mommy issues too. I'm sure he's pissed off at his mom for keeping that from him this whole time. So he just loses it. I don't know. It's just like, obviously he wants to take out his aggression on somebody, but like, why did he go here specifically? I don't know. Sonny throws the guy on the bed and hits him a few more times before apologizing, like I just said. And then Acid Yellow and the wrestler guy with the mullet pull Sonny off of Scotty, and the wrestler beats Sonny up while Acid Yellow consoles John, who is just like, or consoles the John, who just wanted to have some sex.
Get kinky, but not that kinky.
Not that kinky. Get to fucking stop kicking me in the face. Acid Yellow calls Sonny a sorry motherfucker and then tells the wrestler to cut Sonny's face so he won't be able to whore himself out anymore. Sonny apologized. That's a classic, you know, going back to the Old West. That's how you get rid of the hookers, you know. You just cut their faces, ruin their livelihood. Sonny apologizes again, then manages to get the guy off of him while Acid Yellow pulls a sword from his cane. I gotta wonder, like, if Cage, that's just sword Cage had.
Yeah, I bet he owns a sword cane.
I mean, I have seen Cage walking around recently with a cane. I wonder if he's got a sword in there. Sonny manages to escape the brothel as Acid Yellow screams after him.
You fucking cunt!
It's probably our first cunt in a while, right?
Yeah.
Yep. We fade to Sonny back home, sitting on the couch with a brown paper bag in his arms. He's at rock bottom at this point. Carol walks in and asks him how he's feeling. I'm guessing not great. He gives her, she gives her condolences for Henry while he sits in silence and tells him she just came to get her things and that she needs the blowjob mobile back since the trick she's planning to marry wants to drive it down to Mexico. And that's where they're going to get married. There's so many questions of that. Like, why does he need the car back? They took a cab to this house to get that car so that they could take it to Mexico to get married.
Right. Like, he doesn't have his own car.
Doesn't have his own car. He owns a car dealership. Right. He took a cab to this house to get that car.
Well, they're going to get the car. You don't want two cars. You're not taking two cars to Mexico.
I guess. I don't know. Why Mexico? Like, they couldn't get married
dude.
It's God's blind spot.
Maybe he's already married.
God's blind spot. He's hoping to get into her God's blind spot.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe he is already married. He's just going to go set up a new life in Mexico with her.
Yeah, maybe. That's always the answer. That was the answer in Red Rock West.
Yep.
Just start over in Mexico.
We're going to Mexico?
I love that. Sure, we'll go to Mexico. Just suck it. And then the next scene, we're going to Mexico? Sonny gives her the keys, and she heads off to pack while Sonny continues to hug the paper bag. And eventually he puts it down, and it's full of Henry's crispy final possessions. How does wallet survive? Like, that car was like engulfed in flames. He looks through them for a minute before staring at his burnt up Freddy Krueger hat, which is like kind of the representation of Henry throughout that hat. Carol tells Sonny that she wants to talk to him outside so Jewel can't hear, and she tells him that he needs to get out of this life before it's too late. Which is like, he almost died the night before. I think they would have ended up killing him. If he would have, or he could have died of AIDS. I don't know. Which honestly, like, that's the most likely scenario, is he's going to get AIDS eventually here. He says it's too late for him and that he can't leave his mom now, especially since Henry died. But Carol says she'll always be able to find more whores to do work for her, so she'll be fine. Which I guess is true. She's just going to track down some other chicks on the street. Really, I mean, like, the beginning scene, he's walking down Bourbon Street, and there's, like, you know, a chick dancing in a bar, and then he sees some other chicks in lingerie. So really, she could just go out on the street and just start talking to people and be like, hey, you want to make more money? Come on over here. Live in my dilapidated house. Troy, over in the blowjob mobile, honks for Carol to join him, and Carol tells Sonny that they could have made it together, and again begs him to leave the whore life behind. He gives her another stoned look. It's kind of no acting in this scene, and she kisses him goodbye. I just like that look the whole time through. It's so confusing. Like, is that the direction that Cage gave him? Was it just look like he was just super baked? As she tearfully walks away, Sonny stands on the front steps of his mom's brothel, just looking high as hell, before looking at the door. And we cut to Carol bawling in the car, and her soon-to-be husband says, wipe your fucking face off, and chucks a handkerchief at her while she says, I'm sorry, Daddy. What a great life. She's telling Sonny to leave behind for this.
Yeah.
Kind of a contradiction there. Mm-hmm. Suddenly, we see Sonny running from around the car in the rearview mirror, and Carol jumps out of the car into Sonny's arms, and the screen fades to white before fading back to Sonny still looking at the door. Then we cut to black, and the weirdest version of Ring of Fire ever created plays, and we see the credit directed by Nicolas Cage pop on the screen. The end. So I guess we're just left to wonder, did he go back inside? Did he go join Carol? I don't know. I think that's... Cage loves these ambiguous things like this. Well, it's for the audience to decide.